Welcome to DockDogs TV. Hey, DockDogs TV is one of your primary gateways for information and details regarding anything and everything in the world of Dock Dogs. We get our information straight from the home office and we bring it to you. We also do some exciting things, just like we're going to do in this episode a little bit later when we interview our Dock Star. We're going to go out west again and do a Skype interview. I really think you're going to like it. But before we get to that, it's time for some worldwide time. That's right, I sat down with Grant Reeves, President and CEO of Dock Dogs. We had another conversation. We talked about a lot of great things that are coming up. We're kind of recapping some of these things we've already talked about, but they're exciting. We're talking about the very first ever regionals competition. All right, I'm back with Grant Reeves, President and CEO of Dock Dogs. Hello again, Grant.
Good to have you back, Jim. Nice day. Getting to sit on the deck. We haven't done this yet.
I know. Well, we did a while back, but we were kind of like this. We were trying to push summer, I think.
Yeah, summer's here, and I'm happy now.
Yeah, me too. Wanted to talk to you this episode about the Eastern Regionals. Those are the first regionals coming up. And I just wanted to put a little more emphasis on it because they are the very first ever Dock Dogs regionals.
That's correct. You know, with the new format change, we took and adapted the national championship format to 4 regional championships, one to handle Canada, and then you have Eastern, Central, and Western. And the Eastern Regional being the first one, I anticipate could probably be one of the biggest regional championships. In fact, we're already over 220 entries already, and we're still, 6 weeks away from it. So we're pretty excited about that. But it's at Wisp Resort the last weekend of June, and there's just a whole gamut of things from social activity to competition to the Dock Dogs Has Talent. I mean, there's just so many things going on.
Right, and also, you know, in with the very first ever Dock Dogs Regionals is the very first ever Dock Dogs Has Talent. You have some people who are signed up to participate in that already?
We've got some definite interest in it. We've received a few videos. We're vetting the videos right now. And I can tell you, I think it's not only going to be very interesting and at times comical, but I think it's going to kind of shine a light on people's talent away from the dock. There's a huge different... I'll say this, there's so many interesting people that participate or volunteer or even, you know, just compete in Dock Dogs. I think seeing these people away from the dock performing for their peers is going to be a pretty interesting situation. And I think it's going to be absolute blast. And we're doing it at the social on Saturday night at each of the regionals. So we're still looking for more. So we're always open, the door's always open. We want some more people. And it doesn't have to be just you and your dog doing tricks. It can be your dog doing something, you doing something, a group of you doing something, a band. Maybe you wrote a song you want to sing. Maybe you got a card show or a comedy act. There is no, it's kind of the America's Got Talent version of Dock Dogs.
Right. And if it hasn't happened already, I imagine something somewhere is going to show up and somebody you know, and you're going to be like, wow, I didn't know that person could do this. You'd probably be surprised at what your fellow competitors, what other talents they do have.
Well, you know, we're looking for a couple of things, and I'm going to go publicly right now and extend the invitation. You know, we need our Ryan Seacrest from America's Got Idol, or our new Howard Stern as a judge, or you know, I think you should be our MC at all the regional championships. So when we go to Worlds and debut the top 5, you're the man everybody knows. So you are DockDogs TV, so there's a natural fit. So what do you say? Can you accept the invitation and be our official host of Dock Dogs Has Talent?
I just love the way you turned it on me. And
yep.
This time, I guess I have to answer the hard question. And yes, I would very much like that. That would be.
We look forward to having
very
you.
Fun to do.
There it is, our official host of Dock Dogs Has Talent.
Evidently, I'm the host now of Dock Dogs Has Talent.
And wait till you find out who your judges are at each location. That's going to be a surprise.
Oh, now I'm really looking forward to it. That's going to be great.
Yeah, we got 3 unique judges, and the point system is going to be very simple. The judges are all going to have a total of 50% of the vote, and then the audience is going to be the determining factor for the other 50%. So it'll be interesting to see who are the top winner from each of the regional championships are to get our 4 or 5 groups that are going to get that travel voucher to go to World Championships and perform in front of the Dock Dogs community at the Worlds.
That is excellent. So once again, it's Dock Dogs Has Talent. You've had to have heard about it by now, and now that I'm going to be there too, I want to see a lot of people up on the stage, and I want to see what the talents are too. So that's going to be fun.
The regionals is big too, Jim. We shouldn't take away from the competition,
right,
and remind everybody it's a divisional format. All divisions, including the new Iron Dog divisions. So you have to have competed in a DockDogs event, either a club event or a national event in the past year, 2011 or the current 2012 season, and you have to be titled either regionally or nationally. So there's enough events between now and then to get out to and make sure you get your title if you don't already have it. But I tell you, the competition's shaping up to be pretty tough. There was a final here at one of the club events just recently where the top 5 dogs went from 1 inch to 1 inch to 1 inch at Carolot, or sorry, that was a national event. And I mean, how close is that?
Right, yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting thing. Who's going to be the world champion at the end of the day in each division, but who's going to be the regional champions in each division going to Worlds?
And it sounds like in some cases, or a lot of cases, those that get the invites, the difference could be just 1 inch.
We've invited to World Championships already. Through the other qualification criteria, over 60 teams of, I believe it's around 64, and only 2 people have declined. Everybody else has accepted, and those invitations have been passed on to the next dog already, and they've already accepted. So the interest at Worlds is even bigger than what I expected already, and I think that the top 4 dogs from each division at the regional championships getting a chance to go and perform on the world stage at 4 docks, 4 pools, make the main event for the paid shows on each of the nights, the banquet. The whole landscape's changed in DockDogs this year. And a large part of that is the way we've been communicating the message through DockDogs TV, the new social media efforts, everything.
Switch gears a little bit. An event I was at recently, and you had caught this on a video review. I've been to 3 events this year, and I've only seen the dock clock once.
Well, let me first say this. DockDogs has grown very quickly in a very short time. Most companies don't realize the growth that DockDogs as an organization has realized in such a declining economy. I mean, if you look back from 07, 08, it's just been absolutely disastrous in the world economy, but we've still continued to grow and grow and grow every year, both from the number of events we do, the number of rigs on the road, the number of event teams that we have to put out on the road, the number of affiliates we have, and now our new sanctioned facility. So it's a constantly evolving program. Are we perfect at what we do? Absolutely not. We learn from our mistakes, and I want to qualify something, not only from your videos, but the videos that we see online, the videos that the competitors themselves post, the photos we see. Now I'm actually getting photos live with our new Twitter, with the hash mark DockDogs Twitter, and I'm following that. It's the coolest feeling to, see when somebody gets a personal best or a new world record set, or there's a battle to see who's going to go to the finals, and we're getting it live on Twitter. And for me, that's pretty unique information because I can follow both the day-to-day operations and the growth of the company. But it also allows us to catch mistakes that we're making. Simple things, a banner's on an angle, or they're not squeegeeing the dock in time, or they've got the stairs set up on the wrong side for the audience. We can actually fix that during the process now rather than waiting till after the event. But even the post-event reports, and one of the things that you do that's very, very well done, and I want to compliment you on it, is your event reviews, that you go around to all these events and you critique the events. And it's not always all going to be good, and we actually respect the honesty that we receive from you on that. But the time clock was a big issue for me because it was a huge factor in DockDogs that was missing. It was a credibility issue for me because people were getting longer than their minute and a half or their minute on the dock, and some were getting shorter, and the judges were forgetting this and forgetting that. So we went out and made a big investment in time clocks. And granted, the first event you were at with the time clock, I was there, and I think you would agree it's a flawless program. It works very well, and now that the handlers are used to it, they love it. The second event, unfortunately, you went to, the clock in transport got damaged, and some of those things are beyond our control. And that clock was replaced, and they're expensive, but it was replaced immediately for the next event, and it works there, and all the rigs have them. The frustrating part was the third event you went to, there was an actual brand new clock at the event, and I believe that the staff had even indicated to you that there was a clock there, but the bracket that we were supposed to mount the clock on the dock with wasn't in the case, and somehow it was misplaced or it wasn't there. But that wasn't satisfactory answer from my event team to me, because there is always an alternative to fix something. Sometimes it's completely out of your control, but the downside is the clock was there, it just didn't get used. And we've addressed that situation, and I encourage both you, other people, the fellow competitors and event teams, if there's an issue going on, text me, call me. We don't need to make it a public issue to the world, but we definitely need to address it. And even if we can't address it that weekend, that's what we're here for, because we're not going to improve without the constructive criticism, without the input from the DockDogs community and video coverage and photos and such of yourselves and other people that are out there. We're not going to fix the mistakes, and we have to continually improve, because trust me, we're never going to do it all 100% right. And I want to again reiterate, we respect the input and the feedback.
Well, thank you. And I know we're all human, and when I'm at these events there, there's little things here and there that can always be better, and there's things that they do great, and maybe that's one of the things I should also point out is if I lack or you lack or any of us, it's just human nature. We don't really go around saying that's great, that's awesome, that's great. You know, people just don't do that, but there are so many things that are done right also, and I see that at all these events, especially just the 3 this year. So much improvement, and that's that's a credit to you and the way that things are picking up and increasing, and the quality is just improving.
Well, to be honest, it's not me. I may be, sitting at the top of the pyramid here, or at the end of the table as the CEO of DockDogs Worldwide, and I got to give credit when credit is due, from the office administration all the way down to the event teams that are on site, and even the event teams that are supporting the affiliates and their volunteers. We all took a really hard look at the program in November at the Rules Committee meeting, and we knew that we had to spend some money. We knew we had to change the way we were doing things. Just by sheer growth, we had to make changes. Equipment was wearing out, and while it's not 100%, I have to give the credits and the kudos to our event teams. The guys, we've cleaned house. We sat with each of the staff. We had one-on-one talks with them, and we told them about respect. We told them about care. We told them about interaction with the community, and even our social interaction. Now, we talk to our staff every 4 to 6 weeks on an overall conference call. We do the same with the Rules Committee, and we do the same with the presidents and officers and directors. And it's a huge effort by everybody that has really shown an absolute black and white change this year. I mean, it's gone from what it was all last year, which was a struggle to manage the growth and manage the equipment, to this year. I mean, I go to an event as a surprise. I get in my truck and it looks like it was driven off the lot yesterday. The guys are doing a great job, to the posting and the board members and everybody communicating better and more effectively. So it's an effort by everybody, you included. This is a part of that program, keeping people honest, keeping people held accountable, but at most part, making sure we don't lose sight of what it's all about, having fun jumping your dog off a dock.
Right. Okay, great. Well, I'm talking with Grant Reeves here, and we're going to get back to a little more discussion right after this.
Hey, have you seen the new DockDogs store online? Good thing dogs can't use computers, because those new toys are awesome.
I am back with Grant Reeves, CEO of DockDogs. We were just talking about the Eastern Regionals. DockDogs has talent and all the great improvements that have happened so far this season on the dock, the way things are getting done. One of the additional improvements that's happening is a brand new camera scoring system, correct?
Absolutely. You know, I've been involved with DockDogs since 2005. And we've been very fortunate to have exclusive rights and use to the ESPN software that you hear us talk about so much. And I think I better give quick Cliff Note history and then where we've come from, where we're at, and where we're going. And Big Air scoring system, from a software standpoint, has become antiquated, outdated, to the point where we can't even buy it anymore. And even the transitional changes at ESPN, the people that were working with us all the time, it was very hard to maintain and keep it up over the last 2 years. We can't even find those people. They've either moved sideways unilaterally or gone from ESPN. So it's been a challenge, and we actually made the commitment last summer. We started researching and working with a new software development company out of Pennsylvania, and we tested it at Carolot last week at the first event. And I got to tell you, there's a couple of things that are different. You've seen, Jim, you know, you've even assisted when you calibrate the old Big Air scoring system. You hang a tape at the end of the dock, and there's one measuring point down the pool, and you click that. And so you click the 0 and you click the 1 point, and then that calibrates it. And that software was effective for DockDogs as it grew over the last 10 years. That technology has been used for the last 8 years. Well, now when you see us, you're going to see the guys measure 21 points. Wow. So they hang the tape in 3 different rows down the pool, and they go down the column 7 times. So there's 21 points marked. And what that is doing is effectively, in the old software, you measured from the left to the right and covered off what they call the parallax. We never ever compensated for this or this type of angle. And now what we're doing is we create what we call an image or a screen that covers the face of the pool from the end of the dock. So the system is absolutely bang on accurate. Wow. And you click 21 points, and when you calibrate, it's great. It also has safety nets in it, in that if the camera got bumped, it'll tell you. It has more replay action. It has a higher focus camera with a wider angle lens. The really unique thing about it is, over the last 4 years, you've seen when you work with software where you can grab a magnifying glass and magnify an image you're working on, coloring. Even in kids' games on your handheld phones now, you can do that and you can magnify it. We've added that into our software. Oh, cool. So now, when you have that dog, and there are a lot of dogs that are very, very fast, that run down the dock, we always had to leave it up to the discretion of the judge to take the angle of approach into the water and measure it. Well, now he just reaches over, grabs a magnifying glass with the mouse, focuses on the spot that the dog lands, and he can blow it up to full screen of his viewable area and get it down precise. So it's so much more accurate. I think those judges that were making the tough calls on the long jumps are going to be able to be more accurate, and the ones that are on the short jumps. So it's going to work to everybody's benefit. It might not always make your jump longer because it's more accurate. It might have been a little shorter, but on the ones where you know, hey, that's got to be longer, now you're going to get those exact extra inches that were guessed at before, whereas now they're going to be right on. I'm excited about it. So, long story short, we're transitioning out. We've got the first systems out there. 3 more go online between now and June 1st. And then the other 3 systems to match all the rigs will be out there. So you'll see the old systems transition away and the new systems come in. And by the mid to late July, DockDogs worldwide, including England, will have the brand new software and the new systems and camera.
Wow, that is fantastic, and that's exciting. And yeah, it sounds like the accuracy is just tremendous. That's amazing.
It's so, when you get to use it, it gets all excited. Even the guys, we did a training session out here at my house here with it about 2 weeks ago, and the guys were like, that is so cool. It's a little more work on our guys' part, but you know, before, remember, we had 14 feet as the furthest we could set the judge away from the camera, and the judge always sat right in the middle of the audience. Now we can be up to 150 feet away from the camera. So you might not even see the judge anymore. He might be sitting on the backside now, but that camera will be there. So we have that, even that technology going from FireWire to GigiWire has made a huge improvement, even on the site setup. So wow. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's something more to be excited about.
DockDogs is continuing. It's you hear me say it all the time. Here we grow again, and it's all part of the effort from everybody. It's a good result.
Well, Grant, thank you very much again for your time. It's been a pleasure coming out here and talking with you, and I know that the viewers out there appreciate getting information right from the office here.
A lot more to happen and a lot more to come. In fact, Jim, I'm pretty sure by the next time you come to interview me, a absolutely huge, massive worldwide announcement for DockDogs will be kind of either in the works or already ready for us to announce. I think it's going to be something really big to stay tuned on the next. We'll make sure we release it with you nowhere else.
Ooh, a cliffhanger.
It's going to be a big one.
Thank you again, Grant.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There we go. There you have it, straight from the home office and the president and CEO of DockDogs. It's always a pleasure talking with Grant Reeves, and it's always my pleasure to give you the information from the office. I have a lot of fun doing this. Some of you may wonder, hey, Jim, why are you in all these trees? And I don't have an answer for you. I'm running low on backgrounds. I don't know. I was looking for the forest. Anyway. Coming up next, we went out west, we did another Skype interview. I think you're going to really like this. Now, before we get going here, though, I have to apologize. There were some audio issues. I think I got that corrected enough where you're going to be able to get through it. My microphone wasn't working well, but this interview is with Christy Baird from Puget Sound, and her microphone was working just fine, which is the important part. We picked this interview up where I had cut out some bad audio part because of the microphone. I was asking her about the weather, but I really think you're going to like it. It's the interview with a dock star here on DockDogs TV, Christy Baird from Puget Sound DockDogs.
Well, I got my first sunburn yesterday at the beach, so in the Northwest we don't get that much sun, and all of a sudden it hits at once, and then we all get sunburn.
Well, I've been wanting to talk with you for a long time, and we know it's been a long time coming. You've recently just had 2 dogs inducted into the DockDogs Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Both Henna and Buddy, and that's got to be just a tremendous honor. Tell us a little bit about Henna and Buddy. How did you get them? Did you have them from a puppy? We're just curious to learn and understand how you've gotten both these fantastic dogs.
Well, Henna here, who is with me here, is 9.5 years old. So she actually is a legend dog, or will be a legend dog considered here in a couple more months, who's trying to get my cookies. She was the first crazy chocolate lab that I got as a puppy. Never had one that quite had as much energy. So it's Henna that got me involved in DockDogs to begin with, because she was a dog that it was badly in need of a job. And I had never experienced that before. So she's been around. She started competing back in 2005. January 2005 was our very first competition. And once I started doing it with her, a couple years later, I got Buddy at about 14 months old, and he was a rescue dog. But he came from the same breeder, had been surrendered to a rescue group in Seattle, and someone had contacted me about him and said, I have this dog. And he was huge. When they opened the back of the car, I was expecting a chocolate lab, and instead I got this pony who was also badly in need of a job. He had zero obedience, was a destructive chewer, and he needed some direction. So Buddy, within the very first year that I had him, I got him in May. In October that same year, he won the Super Elite National Championships in Wisconsin that year. So, and then Henna has gone around, and we've traveled into Canada and around the United States, and she's really been the driving force behind everything I do with DockDogs. She's the one that does all the training exercises with me, and she is my true doc diva.
Now, you've been in DockDogs for a number of years. I mean, since you tell me how you got started. How did you get into it? Was it just with Henna right there, and was that the very beginnings?
It was, and it is my dad's fault, and he loves it when I remind him that when he complains that I'm constantly traveling on the road with my dogs. He had seen it back in the day on ESPN, and he says, I've taken your dog to the beach. Every time you throw a ball out there, she fires off into the water and, goes 15 or 20 feet. You've got to try this sport. And I said, I'm not going to go do that with my dog. Back in the day, I was doing agility and, some obedience stuff. And finally, he twisted my arm, and I went. And then I went back to every single day for that entire event. And then, for the first several years, I don't think I missed an event after that. We were totally hooked instantly.
I've been there. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hook, line, and sinker. Yeah.
Well, so what have you been up to lately then? You're part of the Puget Sound DockDogs Club there, correct?
I am. I'm the president of Puget Sound DockDogs. We have just been working really hard here in the Northwest at growing DockDogs. We don't have quite as big of a following here in the Northwest as, say, Ohio, and as you go east up into Minnesota and Wisconsin. And so out here, we're just trying to keep growing it. And we've been growing it over a course of several years. Our club started in 2005, but finally within the last year or so, we've gotten to the point now, our club has 5 events this year. So we just keep pounding out the events and getting more members, and we're dividing and conquering and growing, and hopefully someday we'll have it as big out here as it is back east.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I know the club's been out there for a long time. I keep in touch with a lot of the things on Facebook I see. It seems like you are very active and very self-promoting, which is fantastic, for being what I would kind of say is kind of an isolated club from many of the other clubs.
Yeah, we've really found that promotion is the key to growing out here. We have a committee within our club that's what they do, is they get on Facebook, and this morning I think they spent 3 or 4 hours on Facebook posting information about everything that's going on in the next couple weeks, and just spreading it everywhere that you could possibly think of, so that it's out there and it's seen, and just to try to keep bringing more and more people in.
So tell me a little bit more about Henna and Buddy being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think it was actually rather interesting. They are the first team of dogs that have been collectively inducted together. And so that in itself was really, really cool, because I refer to my dogs all the time as my team. Together we're a team, and every morning we get up, we feed the team, and every time we go out and exercise, we're exercising the team. So it was so appropriate for them to get inducted as a team. It was very fitting. And as far as accolades, both of them have a very different laundry list of accomplishments, of accolades. Henna, going back to, she was a competitor at the very first ever Extreme Vertical event. All of the service work, I would say, that she's done, promoting DockDogs. You are such a diva. Sit. And then Buddy, he had his national championships. He's a 6-time world championships invitee. He held numerous records in extreme vertical in this part of the country when we were first starting. He's been the top 1 or 2 ranked chocolate labs several years running. So just consistently playing at the top of the game and getting out there and hanging out together and doing really good things and accomplishing great things on the dock together as a team.
That is awesome. So, what do you think about DockDogs lately with the turnaround here? That the new website, and then a newer website, and the new ERS, early registration systems, the way that Worlds is set up with the regionals. I mean, there's a lot to ask you about. Of all the changes you've seen recently, is there anything that you really like, that you like seeing happen right now?
Well, I've been really following, with the getting rid of the old forum and moving to Facebook. It seems like it's really brought in more people back to interacting with each other, which had kind of fallen off with the old forum style. Back in the day, 05, 06, and way early, there was always, you'd open up your post and there would be hundreds on there. And I know that Grant had been dragging his feet with Facebook for a while, and I think that's true of most people. All of a sudden now he's like, wow, I can't believe what a difference it makes. And absolutely. And I love seeing the interaction of competitors and clubs all across the country. I'm seeing really good things, and I'm talking to some newly wonderfully positive people in the DockDogs office, which is super. And I love seeing the changes for the positive, and I really hope to see that continues over the next year or two as we continue on our path.
Let me switch gears just a little bit. It really depends on, I guess, your geographical location, how much into DockDogs you are. Let's say in terms of drive one way, what would you consider, how many hours would you consider to be a close event to you?
Close event for us in this part of the country, if I can get there in 8 hours or less, that's phenomenal.
Okay. And I just want to point that out, because that is an often question, especially with new people with DockDogs, and you probably find this as well. To me, I say that 4 hours is still a close event. But
yeah.
That's also me. Now, other people, other friends that I have here in the same area may say, no, that's still a little far, Jim. But everybody's a little different. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is a lot of the new people, that one of the
Real-
first things they say is, I can't be traveling all over, driving 6-8 hours to places to play in this game. And it's like, well, unfortunately, that is the way it is.
We do get that. We had talked about a practice facility that was going to be about 2 hours from where I live. And we had another area that we had been practicing that was closer to my home. And I was surprised at how many people literally said, that's too far, I'm not going up there. And I was thinking, it's 2 hours versus, somebody like me is going to get in the car and drive for 24 hours to go to Minnesota or something for, a national event. But 2 hours is too far. And I'm thinking 2 hours is nothing. I mean, we do live, our states aren't quite as close together here as they are, back east. And we are going to get that group that doesn't want to travel, that, for whatever reason. But there are a smaller core group that will do some traveling. And as long as they can get there within a couple hours, then we seem to hold a pretty good number to attend those events.
As a handler with multiple dogs in the Hall of Fame, all your years of experience. Well, here's a question. When you're on the dock with your dogs, what do you hear? Do you hear the announcer? Do you hear what they're saying? Do you see the crowd, or are you blocked off? Are you kind of in that blinders, knowing what you got to do? Just curious.
It actually varies depending on the dog that I have on the dock. Sometimes I don't hear the announcers, but I always hear the crowd. And every one of my dogs really feeds off the energy of the crowd. When we don't have a crowd ringing cowbells and screaming at the top of their lungs and shaking the house, then I always get shorter jumps out of them. Always, without fail. So I always hear the crowd. Sometimes I can hear the announcers and I can try to catch what they're saying, but not always. But when I am on the dock, when I'm first getting my dogs set and we're communicating with each other on the dock, that I have sort of a brief moment where I do completely tune out the crowd and I'm focusing on the dog, especially, on their sit stay, getting them to the place that I want them on the back of the dock. When you handle so many dogs, their speed is different on the dock. Their jumping styles are different. Some of them I have to use a different weight of bumper. Some of them like to have streamers so their toys throw different. So I have to really pay attention. And I have gotten on the dock this year. The very first time I got on the dock with the wrong dog. So I thought it was a brown dog, and I had a brown dog in my hand, and my big joke was that dog didn't have a name on its vest. So this year they all have names on their vest so that I'll never make that mistake again. I had the wrong toy for the wrong dog. But it all worked out in the end.
So with all your years of experience and obvious success, are there any particular moments that stand out, above the rest? Was there any one time? What was your best moment in DockDogs, I guess?
I would say probably I've had several very best moments of DockDogs, and DockDogs has been a part of my life and a part of really many really great things that have happened in my life over the years. The year that Buddy won the national championship was the only time that I actually was so happy that I bawled like a baby. And it was because I took this freshly rescued dog and worked our tail off together morning, noon, and night. We trained, we changed their diet, we worked on obedience, we worked on, he didn't know he would retrieve, but he would never bring it back. We worked so hard that when we got to nationals, it was never my intention. I never even dreamt that we would even make it to finals, let alone win it. And as the dogs kept jumping and our score kept standing and we were still in first place, as soon as the last dog went, I remember standing behind the back of the dock in front of Cabela's, and I couldn't believe that, I was bawling. But I was so happy. I have dogs that aren't rescues except for Buddy, but when you see a dog that comes from any kind of situation, a rescue situation, and you can see that dog who had supposedly so many issues, turning to this amazing athlete on the dock, and then go and win a national championship of any sort, whether it be DockDogs or anything. He was already a rock star in my heart, and it just, to me, I felt like he had to prove a point, and boy did he ever. And that was probably the most momentous DockDogs ever.
Well, this has been a great conversation with you, Christy, and it's been long overdue. Again, I appreciate your time, your input. Congratulations to you for both Buddy and Henna in the Hall of Fame, and all of your success with DockDogs. I see all your ribbons in the back there, and that's probably just a small sampling.
We won't talk about the ones in the closet. My husband counts them. $25, $25.
No. Yeah, I know. No, I'm not counting them that way either. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, I hope that we get out to see you. I would love to be able to come out to Worlds this year with Henna as a legend dog. That's my goal this year. So hopefully we can make that road trip one way or another and get out there to Iowa and visit with some of our friends from other parts of the country.
Yes, I know that would be fantastic. Thank you again, Christy. Really do appreciate it.
All right, you bet.
There you have it, folks. I really enjoyed my interview with Christy. She's such a great ambassador to our sport. She's knowledgeable and successful. That is definitely one of our top doc stars we've talked to so far this year. Hey, I want to thank you again for tuning in to another edition of DockDogs TV. We're going to bring you the latest and greatest, and don't forget, Grant left us with that cliffhanger for next month's episode, so we're going to find out what that is. Even I don't have a clue, so he's got me on this one. Anyway, for DockDogs TV, I am Jim Zelasco. Thanks. See you on the dock.